Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Big story in the news that a lot of people are interested in. A vessel was struck while docked at harbor in the North Sea. And right now, there's an untold amount of jet fuel that's spilled into the North Sea. Jet fuel is a little bit different than crude oil. And from reading the stories, I guess it's pretty rare to have a jet fuel spill. So it's almost like an experiment to see what will happen. They said bacteria could be more attracted to the jet fuel and cause it to be eliminated more quickly. Anyhow, we're going to look at what's so suspicious about this story and it being managed by Crowley, the name of the company. Of course, Aleister Crowley's the famous occultist out of the UK. There's definitely something interesting in light of the focus on the environment and Crowley's whole thing with chaos magic. Also, I skipped this last week, or a little more than a week ago, the release of the first phase of declassified Jeffrey Epstein files. I just want you to see the ritualism in the release date. It couldn't be more obvious. Pattern that goes back to his supposed self-deletion. And just a little bit more on the 2 moon landing missions that happened last week. They said one was a success, the other one was an almost success. And then the latest with the Texas measles outbreak. Again, this is clearly a ritual that has to do with the Kennedys. If you watched RFK Jr. being sworn in, or even before being sworn in, his whole confirmation process, a major focus was the measles outbreak that reportedly killed 83 people in American Samoa. And a lot of the politicians were saying it was his fault because the reason they weren't getting the jab for measles was largely based on RFK Jr. and statements he had made. So a lot of politicians were putting the deaths of the 83 people on the outbreak from RFK Jr. Notice shortly after this administration takes office, you have this measles outbreak in Texas. And when I say Texas and Kennedy, does it remind you of anything? Maybe the Uncle JFK. So we'll talk more about that. And let's start here with the Crowley thing. I'm going to skip down. We're going to go back over all this, but I'm going to skip down right here. The ship that is leaking jet fuel into the North Sea is the Stena Immaculate, managed by Crowley. And notice, in the Kabbalistic practice of coding numbers into words, something that Aleister Crowley was into and wrote books about, Stena Immaculate equates to 248. Remember, the Illuminati is 248 years old right now. This has been a huge number in the time of them being 248 years old. It's come up again and again, as we've talked about nonstop, really, since May 1st of last year when the order turned 248 years old. But notice how many days it was after the new prime minister of the UK took office. He took office July 5th, 2024. This disaster happened 248 days after he took office. So his nation faces the Stena Immaculate fallout 248 days later. And this is what we see again and again. These rituals in nations sync with their puppet leaders who are installed by the code. Of course, he was installed on the date that's written 5/7 in the UK, 5th day of the 7th month when England equals 57. Also noteworthy, from the Illuminati's birthday to this incident was 313 days later, which is the 65th prime number. In United Kingdom equates to 65, like hydrocarbons. Again, you can read this quote here. Experts say that jet fuels in general can be less toxic than crude oil spills. Professor Mark Sefton, professor of organic geochemistry at Imperial College of London, said the fact that jet fuel is significant. Jet fuel is dominated by relatively small hydrocarbons compared to the more diversive and sometimes larger organic structures found in crude oil. So they're going to see how this spill disperses compared to a typical crude oil spill. But yeah, right away, the 248 thing jumps out. Huge recurring theme. It's how years in advance we said this election would be rigged for Donald Trump over here in the U.S. President Donald Trump equals 248. Again, he's part of the Jesuit network. The Jesuits founded the Illuminati. When the election was called for him the first time it was rigged for him back in 2016. They called the election while he was on 248 electoral votes. I'm sure everybody remembers the Trump mugshot down in Atlanta on the 24th day of the 8th month, et cetera, all part of the buildup. to him becoming the first felon president in U.S. history in 2025, when both Trump and felon equal 25. Again, you learn this gematria thing, the practice of coining numbers into words. The rituals stand out in a big way. So to take it from the top, here's the other things that stand out. This is a jet fuel spill. Again, before we go any further, in case you're new here, I have to explain the same things every day because gematria is a foreign concept to most people, because hardly anyone knows about Aleister Crowley and the occult and all the things that are important to them, which are the same things our world leaders use, same things the entertainment world's full of. Look at all the rock bands from the UK, so inspired by Crowley. Again, this ship was managed by Crowley. But anyway, the 4 base ciphers of the English language, and again, I learned about these from a book written in 1926 by Manly P. Hall, who was hyper-focused on the occult. The alphabetic order, A is 1, up to Z is 26, just using the alphabetic order, turning the letters to numbers. The reverse alphabetic order, Z is 1 back to A is 26, and both orders with numerology applied. So the ciphers you're looking at on the screen right now, where jet fuel spill equals 69 and jet fuel equals 38, that is the reverse alphabetic order with numerology. This spill happened on March 10th, the 69th day of the year, and it was a date with 38 numerology. Jet fuel 38, jet fuel spill 69. How perfect. Keep in mind, it was 1 day after. See, what I'd like to know and what I was trying to figure out is when the ship got loaded up with the jet fuel. When did it dock at this port? I'm sure that information's out there. I was having trouble obtaining it. But the day before the spill would have been the 9th of March, in the UK written 9/3. And this did happen early in the morning, the day after. But the thing about it happening the day after 9/3 is Aleister Crowley, the number he worshipped was 93. And again, it's because in Greek isopsophy is the same thing as gematria, it's just the Greek word for it. In Greek isopsophy, Thelema and agape equate to 93, and he had created this occult religion called Thelema. So 93 is a big thing with Crowley, and the day before was the 68th day of the year. His religion, Thelema, comes from something called the Book of the Law, which equates to 68. The word spill is also 68. Funny enough, on March 9th in 2013, so 12 years ago, on the 93rd meridian of all places, there was a significant oil spill. So kind of history repeating itself. Might be something to look more into. This year, by the way, will mark 78 years since Crowley's death. He died December 1st, 1947. The spills off the East Yorkshire coast, which equates to 78. Could be coincidental or not. Aleister Crowley, if you don't know, his birth name was not Aleister. He changed his name to Aleister. It was Alexander. But Aleister Crowley equates to 89, like whole United Kingdom. That's where the ship was docked in whole United Kingdom when this accident happened. The name Aleister alone is also 89, like chaos. Again, he was into chaos magic. The Cabal's into order out of chaos. Again, create problems and then bring about their planned interventions, their planned solutions. No doubt there will be money made on the cleanup. Again, there's all kinds of angles money can be made. And, you know, out of this might come new policies, new regulations. And those things will generate contracts that put money in certain people's pockets. There's a reason this psychopath cabal goes around the world performing these disastrous rituals by a code day after day. It's disaster capitalism, to make a long story short. In light of it happening on the 69th day of the year, Aleister Crowley tied the number 69 to lies. I'd say this story is probably a definite lie, meaning that somebody knows why it was done and who was put up to it. And, you know, they're going to pin it on some psychopath and say, oh, yeah, this is some terrorist or blah, blah, blah. There'll be some story, some justification, some excuse. But that's not what really happened. That was just the BS put out for the populace who's looking for answers. So again, Stena Immaculate is the ship that's leaking. It equates to 248. The disaster happened 248 days after the new prime minister took office. Again, 248 is how old the Illuminati is right now. And again, from the Illuminati's birthday to this disaster was 313 days, which is the 65th prime, where again, United Kingdom equals 65. And Let's see. From Crowley's birthday anniversary. And funny enough, it would have, yeah, that's funny. Okay. I almost overlooked that. He would have turned 149 years old if he were still alive. So funny enough, from his 149th birthday anniversary to the disaster was also 149 days later. 149 days after his 149th birthday anniversary, and they're blaming the incident on a 59-year-old who purposely crashed into the vessel. Notice, environment equates to 149 and 59. Again, chaos magic. Alistair literally equates to chaos, like the location where it happened. Again, not only is Alistair Crowley 89, Alistair, the word alone is 89, just like the word chaos, just like whole United Kingdom. But yeah, 149 days after his 149th birthday anniversary, this destruction to the environment, an experiment with the environment. So again, just another day of news by the numbers, the cabal working by the numbers, more needless destruction by the numbers. I imagine in the UK, taxpayer dollars will be put to work to clean up the oil spill that will put money in certain people's pockets. This is the times we live in. Okay, so Epstein files released on February 27th, the 58th day of the year. You might recall he was arrested in the time of Donald Trump, who won the 58th election the first time around, after announcing from the 58-story Trump Tower when Freemasonry, Rosicrucian, secret society, fraternal, they all equate to 58. The first degree of Freemasonry is the apprentice. But notice, the files were put out on the 58th day of the year, February 27th, the release of the declassified files for Epstein. And they're saying this is phase one. There'll be more releases. There's nothing interesting at all in it. It just brings back up Epstein. People who missed the Netflix episode about this, might remind them they need to go back and watch the Netflix series, help them generate a few more dollars. Again, just like I've been telling you the whole time, Epstein was nothing but a distraction and a puppet and just another ultimately meaningless story in terms of what's going on in the world. Pinning the actions of the cabal, the atrocities of the cabal on this one stooge. And, there's certain people in the world, if you know who Derek Bros is, years ago, he was thinking like Epstein was the evil emperor of the world, his whole focus on Epstein. Derek Bros is still at it, but now he's changed his tune. Right now, he made fun of what I said back in 2019, 2018 about how he was nothing but a puppet. He's like, oh, that gematria stuff's so stupid, and just Epstein some part. Now he's talking about how Epstein was a puppet all this time, and that's now obvious. So realize the people who denounce this work, it takes them about 7 years to catch up to where we were. That's what this whole truth community is. And if you don't know who Derek Bros is, relatively small channel. I'm not going to put him all the way down because I like a lot of the things he talks about, but he's like so much of the truth community. They're light years behind us. They're denouncing what we're doing. We're a million miles ahead of them. And then 7 years later, they still haven't figured out that this is what they need to incorporate when they look at what's going on in world affairs. You got the note. I'll be nicer to him. It seemed like Brian actually watched the debate and he liked our side of the debate. It seems like Brian might be coming around. But, Brian, like every day I noticed lately, is shouting out Derek Bros. Why are we shouting out cavemen in the truth community? I don't know a nicer way to put it. I mean, the guy, again, is a million miles behind us. Why is that what you're shouting out? He finally figured out that Epstein's a puppet? I mean, come on, man. Again, if you guys forgot that Anarchadelphia convention, which I'm glad I didn't attend because it ended up being this horrible thing. But again, it was him who essentially got me kicked out. Him and Mark Passio were mad about what I said about their false messages at the time. Derek Bros was talking down my work. We're supposed to speak on the same stage. And Mark Passio is showing that he's not a man of his word. And he goes on Alex Jones day before and like kisses Alex Jones's ass and doesn't stand up for any of his positions. And again, called them both out before the convention, and then I get kicked out of the convention. Sorry, their knowledge isn't going to help the world really that much. It'll help a little bit. What we're putting out is the thing everyone needs to gravitate to and understand, because it actually shows what's going on and shows who runs the show. Anyway, 258 days after Trump's birthday, the Epstein files come out. And again, big Illuminati number, big beast number. And just to remind you about, things from years past, Epstein's associate was found dead at the doorstep of 201 Mount Pleasant Street. And what did we say that day? How that address had the 258 connection, order of Illuminati's 201 forwards, 258 in reverse. Where does the Illuminati trace back to? The Jesuits. It's the Jesuit network that runs the show. What day was Epstein's birthday? The 201st day of the nation's age, the date that can be written 20/1 as it is in the majority of the world. Don't forget how the Ghislaine Maxwell verdict fit in with the whole 201 pattern. Pull this up here. Well, I guess I didn't do the best post on this. Again, jury finds Maxwell sex trafficked a minor for Jeffrey Epstein, guilty on 5 of 6 counts. Again, we get that with the whole Jesuit 56 in code, but that was on 1229, like 1229 is the 201st prime. Again, just Illuminati fingerprints over all this. That's why you can understand when Trump's doing his ritual with his dead ex-wife and then burying her on the 201st day of the year, and how it all foreshadowed he'd win the last election, which we were telling you years in advance. Rest of the community hadn't even figured out that Trump was going to be running in the next election when we'd already figured out why it was going to be rigged for him. But here's the other thing. When Epstein died, it was a major 38 ritual, and we know that's a number of death. We know it's a big number with the capital city, D.C., on the 38th parallel, but think about it. The files were put out on the 58th day of the year. Inauguration Day is the 20th day of the year, so that means the Epstein files were put out 38 days after Trump took office, and Trump's buddies with Epstein. But Epstein 38, Jeffrey Epstein 163, the 38th prime number. To remind you about the death of Epstein, Epstein equals 34, just like the SUICIDE word. And from his July 8th court date, where he was charged with sex trafficking, to his self-deletion on Tisha B'Av was 34 days later. He was charged on a 34-date numerology. It should remind you of Trump's ritual with 34 felonies as well. But Epstein and murder have the 34 and 38 overlap. And again, Jeffrey Epstein, 163, the 38th prime, from his birthday to, or more like from his self-deletion date to his upcoming birthday, was 163 days, the 38th prime. His name equates with sacrifice and ritual sacrifice. Again, Tisha B'Av is a time to remember Jewish tragedy. Epstein, a Jewish man, found dead in his cell. Jeffrey Epstein literally equates to sex trafficking. Temple, this is around the same time the Temple coin went on sale for Trump in his first term. Israel was 71 years old at the time. Epstein and Trump got that 88 connection, like ooish. This news came on Trump's 58th day of his age, the death after Trump had won the 58th election, and now the Epstein files go out on the 58th day of the year. Don't forget, Hillary's book about why she lost the 2016 election was titled What Happened? What happened was Freemasonry and society only for men. And isn't it interesting how Trump can only beat women in elections? There's a joke to that, right? Because again, the Masons study the 47th problem of Euclid. He beats Hillary in the 58th election, beats Kamala in the next one, going for number 47. Numbers that relate to Freemasonry. Again, Freemasonry's secrets are in Solomon's temple. Then there was Herod's temple. Now there's going to be the third temple eventually, and they're raising money for it with a coin called the Temple coin after Trump declared Jerusalem the new capital, and that coin has Trump's face on it. Yeah, there's a lot of old posts here on all the rituals with Epstein. And you know, the other thing about what's coming up later this year is with 55-year-old Puff Daddy. And who told you Puff Daddy was going down at age 54 before any of it happened, before he turned 54? Again, the power of this knowledge. But remember, now he's 55 and his trial will begin on 5/5. And the same people who took down Diddy are the same people who took down Epstein. So just wait and tell how these stories intersect even more and become a greater distraction for the populace while no one pays attention to the real issues that actually matter. Like, again, the things we expose every day. that were ruled over by a bunch of tyrants, a bunch of Illuminati Jesuit types that purposely make hell in this world. Everyone should actually care a lot more about how oil spills are purposely contrived, because that's actually destroying the earth that we depend on, all for the sake of making a few dollars for these people and for another experiment, and probably because they legitimately want to poison us and get rid of us. Very few people care about any of this, but they can't wait for the Diddy story to come back. They can't wait for the next Epstein file release. Everyone's glued into all the wrong things. By the way, when Epstein got arrested, Derek Bros made fun of this. Just for the record, his full name's 322. He's arrested in Brooklyn, New York, 223 land. But he was arrested on July 6th, the day leaving 178 days left in the year, by something called the FBI NYPD Crimes Against Children Task Force. And I was like, is that even a real thing? God, is that even real? They make that up for this story? But just how perfect, right? July 6th, and the 187th day of the year matters too. Huge number with the federal government, huge number with the Jesuits, huge number with the Masons, huge number with Skull and Bones. Again, they all have that 187 connection. It's a biblical number. Again, this whole knowledge of letters and numbers goes back to the Torah, which is 187 chapters and represents is the basis for the Abrahamic religions, when Abrahamic alone equals 187, like when you run it in reverse. Again, the root Abrahamic religion is Judaism. And when it becomes to Judaism and sex with children, again, it's unclear. And again, like Genesis 19 is about father having sex with his daughters. And anyway, the alias for Skull and Bones, which is Order 322, it's the Brotherhood of Death, which equals 187. So how perfect that Mr. 322 is arrested on the 187th day of the year. Epstein and minors, perfect overlap. It was 167 days after his birthday, the 39th prime, the big number in New York, big number with the feds as well. Could have also said it was the 168th day of his age as he's arrested in New York City. He appeared in court on July 8th, 7-8, right? It's a New York number. It's a Jesuit number. It's a Scottish Rite number. Another special number. And it's a reminder that Trump is 78 right now, as Epstein comes back into focus. Notice there wasn't a whole lot with Epstein in the time of Biden, but Epstein was arrested in the time of Trump the first time, and now here we are the second time around, and they bring it right back up at the start of the administration by the numbers. On a muggy October morning in 2007, Miami's top federal prosecutor, Alexander Acosta, had a breakfast appointment with a former colleague, Washington, D.C. Attorney Jay Lefkowitz. It was an unusual meeting for the then 38-year-old prosecutor, a rising Republican star. Epstein was 54 at the time, big Jesuit number, also big pedo number. And the day he appeared in court was a date with 54 numerology. Again, cable 54. Look at the headlines that day. UK ambassador calls Trump inept, insecure, and incompetent. This is when California was shaking all over the place too. And then the Epstein thing. Rare tornado in New Jersey. Yeah. All right, so just going back down memory lane. And again, certain people, who were making a living off of selling the idea that Epstein was the center of all evil in the world, finally in 2025 have come around to the fact that he was just a puppet. Wow. The thing about these same people, though, is you'll never hear them retract their statements probably ever about how they denounce this knowledge and how it's all just coincidental. Again, if you thought my work was coincidental when Epstein got arrested, you're a really dumb person. I mean, unprecedented documentation up to that point, unprecedented track record of predictions up to that point, that's only built on since 2025. And these people still can't come around to what's going on. And by the way, everyone's like, well, is there any more 258? Yeah, there's a lot more 258 pattern. Other members of this order. You remember when this guy's dad, another guy, again, the Illuminati have the 201 and 258 connection, right? Remember when this guy's dad died on the 258th day of the year? In the time of the scandemic? I do. And there's plenty more, but I'm just making the point. Bill Gates' wife at the time. And remember, my book told you they were an arranged marriage for the scandemic, as perfectly planned as it all was. What happened as soon as the scandemic was over? They got divorced. But yeah, she's from a family of Jesuit priests, Melinda French Gates, who has the same birthday as the Jesuit order. The Jesuits from France. Ghislaine Maxwell, where's she from? She's from France, isn't she? A place that looks like Masons, the town she's from. Yeah. Paris, France, 56, where the Jesuits are credited. 5 of 6 counts. Society of Jesus, 56. All right. All things we covered over the years, plus a million other things. But yeah, just a little follow-up on the moon landing mission. I knew there had to be something more to that moon mission failing on March 6th. Look whose birthday it was March 6th. David Gilmour, right? If you don't know who David Gilmour is, Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, one of the biggest rock albums of all time. It was his 79th birthday, 79 days after the Pope's birthday. I mean, big number at the Jesuit Society of Jesus is 79. And again, this moon lander that supposedly landed but then fell over on its side on that day is owned by Intuitive Machines, which equals 201, 258, and 105, like Order of Illuminati, like very similar to Neil Alden Armstrong. Intuitive Machines has triple overlap with Neil Alden Armstrong, and the one cipher where it's not a perfect match, it's just a reshuffling of the same numbers, but a perfect overlap with 201, 84, and 105. Remember, the Jesuit order equals 201 and 84. The first Jesuit Pope, Jorge Mario Bergoglio, equates to 201 and 105. That's Pope Francis, the first to live in Suite 201 at the Vatican. But again, just a reminder of how these numbers fit together in these rituals. The Illuminati, we're talking about moon landings, the object illuminated by the sun. The moon landing was on the 201st day of the year, again, July 20th, 1969, in the time of Cancer, ruled by the moon. Again, where the astrological symbol is 69, which is also interesting with Crowley, who said 69 has to do with lies. And he's very important in the world of the occult. A lot of people influenced by Crowley who are in the occult today. But yeah, the 79th birthday of David Gilmour, 79 days after the Pope's birthday. Makes me think David Gilmour might want to look out, either him or Roger Waters. They're the ones that are beefing. They're the reasons that all Pink Floyd doesn't perform together anymore. Roger Waters, he turned 81 at the end of last year. Okay. I'm just thinking about something real quick. Let me see. I think it would have been 181 days after his birthday. Is that right? Yeah, 181 days, 42nd prime. Outer space has that big 42 connection. Freemason has that big 42 connection. So does Jesuit. Again, they supposedly took the Scottish Rite flag to the moon. The other moon, there were 2 moon missions in the same week, and Firefly, another private company that also uses NASA, like Intuitive Machines, their moon landing was on March 2nd. And what's interesting about that is it was one day after the anniversary of Dark Side of the Moon coming out. So, and then the second one's on David Gilmour's birthday. Again, I don't think that's an accident. And it was the 52nd anniversary. Pope equals 52. I Yeah, I find it real curious that the mission failed on David Gilmour's birthday. And they said, look at this, the moon phase for Thursday, March 6, 2025. The current moon phase for March 6, 2025 is the first quarter phase. On this day, the moon is 6.66 days old. Remember, NASA stands for National Aeronautics and Space Administration, which each equals 666, and you run the alphabetic order in reverse. So, and again, both private companies working with NASA. Call it fascism, really. Probably not, just BS news. A lot of money being funneled from taxpayers to certain people's pockets. Again, NASA's budget is nearly $70 million a day. And again, NASA did start as part of the Air Force in advancing flight, and no doubt they have advanced flight in the time of NASA. But again, you just think about $70 million a day. Imagine if the U.S. government was using $70 million a day to clean up its homeless problem, figure out how to make productive lives out of people who live here rather than have them dying on the streets from overdoses and robbing petty burglaries every day from businesses in downtowns like the whole West Coast, the kind of stuff people are dealing with every day, which is causing people's shops to close up and people to not want to go downtown. They don't want to contend with the threats, the homeless people. Some people don't even want to go down there because they feel bad walking past the homeless and they don't have enough dollars to hand them out to all the people begging. Again, they got to send it all into government. They hardly have any extra money because of how many taxes there are. And then your tax money is getting siphoned off for these moon missions. Again, what do they really do for anybody? $70 million a day. I mean, think about that, like a $500 million a week, pretty much $500 million a week. And not to mention we have a major debt problem. Okay, and then there's the whole measles thing. Today's headline, measles cases up 25. I could have been doing this each day, just talking about the ritual by the numbers, but I just want to remind you, your Masonic capital where everything's number ritual, where measles has been a focus with the whole anti-jabbers being targeted. Just notice how measles and Masonic overlap, and consider this administration was elected on 11/5, November 5th. You have that. And then today's headline, they got to give you 223, right? We're up to 223 measles cases on this March 11th, the anniversary of the scandemic. By the way, did you see the NBA is paying tribute to the 5th anniversary of the scandemic? ESPN's doing a big special on it tonight. Remember, 11/3, the way the majority of the world writes the date. The name of the scandemic equaled 113. It also equals 94, like a basketball court's 94 feet long. And again, the NBA is the 113 league, and there's only one team in the league whose full name equals 113. NBA's got the 113 connection. That team's the Utah Jazz, who the outbreak in the NBA was blamed on, which caused the lockdown on the same day Switzerland declared the pandemic at the World Health Organization. And remember, that was the death shortly after the death of Kobe, Mr. 113, who was in a pharmaceutical battle, so we were told, and buried in Corona del Mar, who died on the 157th day of his age at age 41 while traveling from Catholic Mass on the Pope's 41st day of his age. His birthday to the scandemic being declared was 201 days. But anyway, it's the anniversary of the scandemic. You have this super significant Mason number on this day, 113. Remember, the big branch of Freemasonry that's all powerful, that has its huge temple in DC, the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. Scottish has the 113 connection as well. So 223 is the 48th prime number. Donald Trump's Mr. 48. Today is 53 days after RFK Jr.'s birthday. And in the Jewish cipher, where Masonic's 223, measles is 241, the 53rd prime. I don't think that's an accident. But I'd watch where this goes between now and 4 days later. 4 days later is going to be the Ides of March, the 74th day of the year. We'll see what they got for us with the measles, ongoing measles story in Texas. But I do remember watching all of the hearings that they kept bringing up the 83 people. They were essentially making it seem like he was responsible for the deaths of these 83 people from measles in America, Samoa. But remember, that's a big murder number. Murder's 83. Where is the measles case by the 83rd day of the year, March 24th? I suppose I just imagine that there could be a big climax in the story by that day in light of how much of a focus it was with, here, I'll just type it, I'm sure it'll come. RFK Jr., measles outbreak, 83 dead, America, what is it, American Samoa. Well, I'm trying to see that the Congress people kept using the number 83. Here it is right here. The new Hawaii governor, doctor, blames Kennedy for measles outbreak. Governor Josh Green, remember where Josh Green was when Maui burned down by the numbers? Governor Josh Green battled a measles outbreak that killed 83 people, mostly children. President Trump wants, and again, he blamed Kennedy just like all the congressmen did. So this was the day before January 29th. Remember, the year of the snake started January 29th, and we talked about RFK Jr. and the year of the snake. So that was the New York Times headline run by Jesuits the day before the whole hearing began. Let's go back and see when this was. Okay. It was the 2019 Samoa measles outbreak. It began in September. So they say it began September 30th. I'm just gonna go. I haven't decoded this. I know Kennedy's birthday is January 17th. He was born in 54. Perfect for a Jesuit. It was 256 days after his birthday. The number 256 is interesting because it has the relationship with 201. 256, pull this up here. It's the 201st composite number. And again, 201 is big with the Jesuits. So, 256 days after RFK Jr.'s birthday. And they say it went 22 days after. That would have been the day leaving 9 days left in the year. It began on a date with 78 numerology too, like Kennedy equals 78. And again, he takes office while Trump's 78 years old. Blaming it on him. Kennedy 78 like Jesuit. Let's see something else real quick. The 63 and 126 are big numbers with John Carroll, who founded Georgetown at age 54. Again, that's where RFK Jr. went, Georgetown Prep. Oh, look at this, too. Look at this detail right here. The 2019 Samoa measles outbreak began in September 2019. By January 6, 2020, over 5,700 cases of measles. 5,700, right? We've seen that number before. That's how we nailed the prediction for why Moderna's stock would blow up on May 7th, as it did, because it was the first jab approved for phase 2 testing for the scandemic. And again, Mr. Gates is Mr. Jab. He's got the 57 connection. He'd endorsed the vaccine. It's what led to our prediction that pocketed a lot of money for a lot of people. So they have to say 5,700, right? And the thing is that RFK Jr., they blame him for them not getting the jabs or the VACCINE word. Again, 83 is a murder number. The population's nearly 201,000. Go figure. The cause of the outbreak was decreased jab rates among newborns from 74%. From 74%, right? Perfect, isn't it? With the whole measles thing. So yeah, the Ides of March is the 74th day of the year, coming up shortly. March 15th. And they say it dropped to 31 to 34%. So it would have dropped as much as 43%. So it dropped as much as 43%. Look at that. From 74% to a 43% drop. I mean, come on, man. Again, saying things is just literally, it's not even an exaggeration. It's literally everything that is reported to us. And Wikipedia is the worst because Wikipedia will go back and make everything Gematria perfect. And I hate Wikipedia because they're constantly changing dates and information. It's like George Orwell's warning is what Wikipedia is. But even if you go back and look at the New York Times reporting and everyone else, you can see the number rituals, but then Wikipedia will like fine tune everything. So it's just perfect. On November 17th, the state of emergency was declared. Remember what's interesting about that date? 1117 is the 187th prime number, and 11 times 17 are the prime factors of 187. Again, that special number to the Jesuits, the Masons, Skull and Bones, DC. On the 5th and the 6th of December, the government shut down everything. On Pearl Harbor Day, the curfew was lifted and the government estimated. Okay. All right. I went longer than I meant to. We don't have anybody in the back room, so if anybody was in the back room while I was going on, so I went overtime. Thank you, Rick James, for keeping us not broke. He gifted a membership. Thank you again, Rick James. He's done that many a times. All right. Yeah, I think we will leave it there for now. And again, if you're not getting notifications, try unsubscribing from the channel and then resubscribing again. I don't know if some new level of censorship went in to start March, but the views are the worst they've ever been in March, ever. The worst they've ever been. Just like all my analytics show, everything is way down. Everything's about half of what it was last month, which wasn't very good. I mean, it was pretty bad last month too. But this month, everything is god awful. And yeah, so again, just trying to see if there's a way that we can revigorate the channel. If you want to try unsubscribing and resubscribing again, maybe you'll get some notifications, or maybe we're just being phased all the way out of here. Oh, we got Gematria32 wants to hop in real quick. What's up, Gematria32?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. What's up?
Oh, I seen in the news that there was a Steelers player that was dead. That's pronounced dead. Is Craig A. Wolfley.
What's this about?
A Steelers player, football player,
is dead.
Yeah, in the news. If you could type his name in, Craig A. Wolfley.
Craig Wolfie.
Yeah. His name equals 70, and today's the 70th day of the year.
And he's dead at 66, like NFL equals 66, and it's the 11th triangular number, and it's a game of 11 on 11.
Yeah, if you type in his name equals 70. Like,
well, go back and look at all the Steelers deaths connected to 84. They're run by the Jesuit Rooney family. Jesuit equals 84. It's 84 days after the Jesuit Pope's birthday, who also has birth numerology breaking down to 84. So a long history of 84 in the Steelers-related deaths. And here's another one. And remember, the Jesuits served the Vatican, which equals 70. It's the 70th day of the year. And as we know, this is an interesting team. Oh, how about the fact that he was the 138th pick of the draft in light of Donald Trump's big connection with 138? and Trump served the hamburgers at McDonald's in Pennsylvania, and then went to the Steelers game. And I told you before that game why Big Mac McDonald was going to get a sack, and that's exactly what he did in the game. So
type his name.
Oh, you know what else? Today would be the 271st day of Trump's age. It's either 270 days after his birthday or the 271st day of his age. 271's the 58th prime, and Pittsburgh's got that big fat 58 connection.
Yeah, type in Craig A. Wolfley. Type in his name.
Craig Allen Wolfie?
Just with the middle initial.
All right. Well, his name's got the 88 too, like Trump.
Yeah,
full
just
name.
with you see the 70.
Craig
and then
A. Wolfie, yeah, like 70th
his
day
birthday, his upcoming birthday is May 19th. It's a span of 70 days to his upcoming birthday.
Yeah, that is very interesting. I'm saying Aaron Rodgers might be going to the Steelers soon.
Yeah, span of 70 days to his birthday, correct. But I have something else as well.
Okay.
So it's a span of Trump is buying a Tesla at the White House today, and Nikola Tesla equals 70, and today's the 70th day of the year.
Trump bought a Tesla or brought one there?
No, he's buying one today at the White House. They bringing one to the White House. On the 70th day of the year, Nikola Tesla equals 70.
What do you say to the people who just think all this stuff's like coincidence every day? How's it even possible?
Well, it's 110. I think it's 110 days to Elon Musk's birthday, and president equals 110.
Yeah, it does.
Elon Musk equals 110.
Yeah.
And then there's a whole bunch. There's a lot to it. But there was something else as well. I think today is the .com anniversary that the crash.
Today's the anniversary of the .com bubble crash?
Yeah, so I think that's why all the stock market and everything been going berserk the last week in tribute to that. Because remember last week I told you it was they was doing the first crypto summit at the White House. It was 29 days to Satoshi Nakamoto's birthday, 4/5. And crypto equals 29, Trump equals 29. It was 29 days to Satoshi Nakamoto's birthday. It was doing the first crypto
Hold up, look
summit.
at this, man. .com equals 70, right? And it did happen on this day, the 70th day of the year, typically. The .com bubble crash on the 70th day of the year.
Yeah, hold up. Let me walk me real quick. And then yesterday we was talking about the crypto thing last week, and then on Monday Bitcoin dropped 26 days to Satoshi Nakamoto's birthday, and then dollar equals 26. So we caught them. You remember on the Patreon, you was like, "Yep, I can see it going down," and you was like, "Anyway, whatever." But yeah. I seen King Richard and Daria. They had a good decode. Somebody from InfoWars died. They had a good one.
Really? Well, yeah, King Richard's in the back room. I'll let him on real quick. I got to start the Patreon stream.
Yeah, he got a good observation. Thanks, Zach. I appreciate you.
Great research. Thank you. All right, King Rich. Speaking of King Rich, here he is. What's up, King Rich?
Yo, what's up, Zach? Yeah, I was just about to talk about the death of the InfoWars reporter. Look him up. Jamie White. He probably got killed on March 9th. And just write out his name. Jamie White equals 167, the 39th prime number.
Yeah. And it looks like, well, actually, it looks like some people broke the news yesterday.
Yesterday.
But a lot of it is being broken today on a date that can be written 10-3.
Equals 103, like Scottish, like Jesuits. He died 26 days after Alex Jones' birthday. He was a reporter, right? Reporter equals 101, like assassin.
Yeah.
That's 26 prime number. Oh yeah, Alex Jones is 51 years old right now. Conspiracy equals 51, like tinfoil hat. Yeah. But I should make a point that he died on Pope Francis murder 83. Just write out Jamie and murder; they all equal murder. And base ciphers. But oh yeah, he also died on the Superior General of the Jesuits. He died on his 118th day of his age. Death of homicide 118. And you know what's funny is the number 118. That's the 38th semi-prime. So basically has a relationship to 38. So
it makes sense. I memean, you got a lot of deaths in history at both numbers, like Tupac down on the date with 38 and 118, date numerology.
Right. Yeah, and this man died on a Sunday in Austin, right? And we were talking about how that equals Jesuit in all ciphers pretty much. So yeah, keep it short and sweet, but yeah, my bad for all the noise. I'm kind of on a walk right now. I'm taking a walk, so.
Your phone is good at blocking out the noise in the background. That siren sounds very tiny compared to your voice, so it's not really a problem.
Yeah. All right, brother. Hey, appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, man. All right. Gary, I see your message. Sorry, dude. I just trying to keep up with everything. Time is short these days. I do have to end the stream because I'm supposed to be on Patreon right now. I'm running a few minutes late there. And no, I was not aware of America's semi-quincentennial next year. I don't know if that is significant or not, but yeah, I'll do a little bit more follow-up research on all this. But yeah, again, just the power of this knowledge. I mean, you just see through everything in seconds. On the 70th day of the year, .com, bubble collapse, and see that's still the big focus today. U.S. markets have another bad day. It's the anniversary. It's the 25th anniversary of Trump with his 25. Look at that. Trump 25, .com 25, the 25% tariffs from the first felon president in 2025. It's a time thing, time 25. Again, it's a joke. It's a joke. All right. Yeah. Going to leave it there for now. Thank you for all the contributions. I'll do some more follow-ups on all these stories that were just brought up here at the end of the stream. Yeah, just within moments. You can just see through everything. The history, what's going on now. Again, Alex Jones has that same birthday as the Vatican, which is perfect. The 42nd day of the year, because again, InfoWars is 42. Alex is 42. War is 42. He's part of the InfoWars, major distraction in the supposed truth community, putting out mostly nothing but disinformation. Got people, swallowing half-truths. Everything's the chai comms now. It's the chai comms. Nope. Same people it's always been. There weren't any founders warning about chai comms, but they were warning about Jesuits. Same ones that own Alex Jones's ass. And don't forget when his CIA pal died in the 201 ritual a year or two back. Covered that then. But yeah, we'll leave it there for now. And again, just search, Steelers, dead at 84. There's a number of stories. Dan Rooney was the most recent. But yeah, again, the Jesuit Rooney family does own the Steelers. And now you have this death 84 days after the Pope's birthday. Again, Jesuit 84. The Jesuit Order. 84. United States of America, 84. Superior General, that's the leader of the Jesuits, 84, etc., etc. Pope Francis, born December 17th, 1936, 12 plus 17 plus 19 plus 36, 84. Ignatius Loyola, the founder of the Jesuits, dead 84 days from his birthday. So, yeah, long-standing pattern there with the Jesuits and the Steelers. The Jesuits themselves, but also the Jesuit-run Steelers. And I don't know why people can't get their minds around it. I mean, it's so obvious. Vince Lombardi, the biggest name when it comes to the NFL, the trophy everyone plays for, a Jesuit who died unexpectedly at Jesuit Georgetown. And, he died the day before the 1970 season began, like Vatican 70, like this guy's dead on the 70th day of the year. Vatican's also 119. This guy's dead 119 days after the Superior General's birthday. All right, we're going to leave it there for now. Thank you to Rick James for the gift, Gary for the double twos. Sorry I missed your call, Gary. And Spatium Viator for the interesting observation. And Spatium Viator for another one. A time capsule will be buried in Philadelphia. Okay. Maybe it has something to do with them winning the Super Bowl this year. Maybe in 100 years they'll reveal it was all scripted. All right. We'll leave it there for now, True Seeker. Until next time.